All right. Welcome, everyone, to our second week's program in our month-long Parkinson's Wellness Series from the Martin Pear JCC in Scottsdale. This is Eat Like a Rainbow. I'm Janelle Mertens. I'm the Parkinson's Coordinator for Fitness Program at the J. And this series is sponsored by a community grant from the Parkinson's Foundation. So we're very thankful for their support of this month's program. There's a little housekeeping for the Zoom call today. You are all muted. So if you want to ask a question right away, you can always put it in the chat area down below, or you can wait till Debbie's ready to take questions and you can unmute yourself, and just make sure when you're done that you mute yourself again so we don't have a lot of background noise. Let me see. If you want to see a larger view of Debbie, if you hover over the three dots on the top right of your screen, it says view, or a few dots, you'll say view, it'll hover, and you can click on that and hit speaker view. And click that and you will just see whoever's speaking. So then right now you probably see me. When Debbie starts speaking, I'm going to mute myself and you'll hear Debbie and you'll see her big. If you need to turn off your camera, down below on the left-hand side for most people is a stop video. You can still watch what's going on, but we won't see you, okay? Now, it's my pleasure to introduce our athletic director at the Martin Pear JCC, Lauren Brzezinski, who's going to introduce Debbie today and give you a little bit of background. Welcome.
Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us today. We're all very excited to have you and join us on our Eat Like a Rainbow program today. I just want to, again, take this time to formally introduce our amazing leader, Debbie. Debbie has had over 25 years of experience in the field. Debbie comes to us as a registered dietitian, bilingual nutritionist, a wellness consultant, a speaker, and even an author. Nutrition and healthy eating can be such a difficult task to make part of our everyday lives, all while keeping consistency with it. And that is why we are thrilled to have Debbie take us through a virtual cooking class today and help us teach the healthy ways of healthy living and healthy eating with her amazing expertise. So Debbie, take it away. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Lauren. Well, thank you. Well, thanks for this great opportunity. I'm excited to be here. I know we might feel that we're far away, but I always feel very connected with our Phoenix community. So thank you so much. I'm here from my home kitchen. I'm welcoming you from my home kitchen in Avondale in the West Valley. So like I said before, if anyone wants to eat with me afterwards, glad for anyone to stop by. And I've been in the Valley for 20 years, but I am originally from Argentina, from South America. I come from an Argentine father who unfortunately passed away last year. My father was a well-known cardiologist, a stress management expert, and author of the book, The Art of Living Without Stress. So I grew up with a mind and body approach to nutrition, to wellness. And my mother, American from New York, she taught me everything about cooking and color and you know, being colorful and wearing colorful clothes and always trying to have a smile on my face. So I guess I have to thank both of my parents for who I am today. So I'm, you know, I love a multicultural, coming from a multicultural background. So I love a lot of color in the foods, and also keeping everything pretty simple, right, and healthy, but with few ingredients, because I know most of us don't care much for spending too much time in the kitchen, right? Or maybe we don't, you know, especially now with the pandemic, we're already sick and tired of being at home and having to cook, etc. And especially now with summer coming. So I've tried to come up with some simple recipes as well now for the spring and summertime. And as I at least mentioned in the beginning, I'm very interactive and engaging. So I really would love all of you Feel free to ask questions throughout the presentation, the workshop. You don't have to, wait until the end. Just if I'm doing something and you want to ask a question, please do so. I also like to engage, so I'll be asking you questions. So, whatever way we're going to chat or Zoom or whatever, that's fine with me as long as I can hear what you're asking. And that I just love that interaction. So today we're going to speak about two things. I've kind of combined them both. Eat like a rainbow, and I've got about 5 or 6 recipes here, very colorful. I say colorful, nutritious, and delicious that anyone can do at home. And at the same time, I'm going to link the Eat Like a Rainbow concept with the specific research behind the Mediterranean and the mind diet or lifestyle. I'm not one to call things diet, but lifestyle, which maybe you've all heard of that, pertains to Parkinson's. So I'll be asking a few questions in the beginning to kind of get to know all of you as well. And feel free also to share recipes or if you have any other ideas, because I always say that what I share, they're just ideas, and then you can modify them according to your situation. You might have a food sensitivity, an allergy. You might have some food interactions with other medications. So feel free to modify whatever we speak about. So let's start with Eat Like a Rainbow. Tell me, I'd like everyone to share, or those of you who wish to share, how many of you love rainbows? I know we don't get rainbows a lot here in Arizona. We don't get a lot of rain, but I'm saying, okay, it seems we all love rainbows. So I guess, my mom was right when she said about color and, visuals and colors, right? So we all seem to love rainbows, all those colors, or when we see colorful food, it kind of makes us happy, doesn't it? And I want to also ask you, for those of you, maybe your last meal has been lunch, or maybe it's been breakfast or a brunch. I'd love for you to share with me, how many colors did you have in your last meal? First of all, let's see if we can remember, because I know we all have a hard time. I also have a hard time remembering, what did I have for lunch or for breakfast? But give it a thought. How many colors and which colors did you have in your last meal? And I don't know, do you want people to unmute, or do they want to chat in the chat box, or what works for everyone?
Do you guys know where your chat box is at the bottom? You can type in what's the most colorful food that you last ate.
Yeah, and how many colors did you have exactly in your last meal? Or if you prefer to unmute, I mean, if yes, we're a small group, I'm glad, like I say, sometimes I have a hard time hearing here, but feel free to share. Yeah, how many colors? And while you're maybe sharing or chatting, I want to just share with you the research, which is kind of sad. It shows us that about 80–85% of us in the United States eat a daily meal and foods, and our dish has usually pretty dull colors, meaning our plates usually have brownish and whitish colors, right? Because we tend to not get colors, or we tend to maybe eat 1 or 2 same vegetables, corn, potatoes, the same broccoli once in a while, the same basics over and over again. So, so today I just want to share with you at least some ideas, especially like I say, with the heat coming up, what we can do with more color and why color has been studied so much in the past about 15–20 years.
So Debbie, Perry said he had 4 colors in his food. And Julia says she had honey mango.
Beautiful, wonderful. Well, thank you. Excellent. Yeah. And what I like so much, because I'm not, so much into counting calories and counting this and that, it gets to be a little bit complicated and dull, but I think it's easy if we speak about counting colors. I think it's something visual, it's simple, we can all do, we can get it, right? you know, maybe a little, I call mini goals. Maybe your mini goal for next week is to add one more color to your lunch plate or to your dinner meal. You know, that might be easier, right, than speaking about numbers, counting, you know, calories and other things. So I just speak about trying to count colors into your meals. Thank you. Well, thanks for sharing. I just also wanted to share with you a little bit simple 5 tips that this is from the American Heart Association that we can get online. And they speak about 5 reasons for us, all of us, to add color. So, and I like it because I don't know if you'll be able to see, but I can then send this little flyer, this link to be shared to all of you because it's on the American Heart Association's website. But number 1, they say colors, meaning you can see my table here, right, the island kitchen. We've got lots of vegetables, we've got lots of fruits. That's where most of the color comes from. So number 1 reason, lots of the good. So we've got fruits and vegetables that give us lots of nutrients, phytochemicals, fibers, and so important to either prevent or even go improving our health conditions. I know with a Parkinson, sometimes we might have digestive issues, so trying to get lots of color really helps, whether it's raw or cooked. Number 2 reason is less of the bad. So the wonderful thing of all this fresh produce, vegetables, and fruits is that we have less, no cholesterol, no fats, no saturated fats, no salt or sodium in their natural state, unless we start adding things or buying canned things. So those are great things, and they're, most of them are low in their sugar. They're all natural sugars, starch quantities. Number 3 reason, it won't weigh you down. So they're low in calories. If maybe you're not moving quite a lot through this pandemic, or now that summertime comes, loading up on all this colorful veggies and fruits, especially we're fortunate to have so much fresh produce here and summer fruit. They're very low in calories, and also they're very high in water. So we always speak about hydration. So if you're a person who doesn't like to drink a lot of water, well, getting juices and smoothies through fruits and vegetables is a great way to, you know, go about the day. I've got a recipe with a watermelon, but another thing I love to do now that summer is here with watermelon would be just juicing the watermelon, not in a juicer, just in a small blender, an inexpensive blender. You can add more water, coconut water, ice if you want. And just the watermelon juice is very high in hydration, so 95, 96%. Number 4, they speak about super flexible superfoods. So you might have heard of the word superfoods. I mean, there's so many food ingredients that have these great benefits, and so do all these colors. So the more colors, according to the color, there's flavonoids, there's anthocyanins, so lots of antioxidants, so beautiful chemicals that provide us with lots of nutrition and lots of good health for our mind and our body. And the last thing, it's a whole body health boost. So again, adding more of these colors to our lifestyle allows us to, even if we have a health condition such as Parkinson's, to maintain it, right, and not have it progress, because at least in the nutritional part, we're doing the best we can with all this color. So I hope these are some ideas to give you that can entice you to start eating a little bit more color. And I really think that now summertime is a great moment to start and incorporate more color. And with that said, I also wanted, I'm going to ask you all a few questions. I want to tie in the eating like a rainbow concept and the recipes with the research. And I want to ask all of you, how many of you have heard of the research behind Parkinson's and both the Mediterranean diet or Mediterranean lifestyle, like I like to call it, and the MIND diet or lifestyle? MIND is the MIND. Have any of you heard of these types of lifestyles or diets? Yes or no in relation to Parkinson's? Yes? Okay, I see a yes. Anybody else? Maybe your doctor, maybe your dietitian, maybe somebody out there. Yes? Okay, wonderful. So how are we tying this in? So as far as the research, because many times people ask me, should I do this kind of lifestyle, this other? I read about the keto, I read about the intermittent fasting, I read about this other thing. So lots of research, and that's great, but the ones we really try to focus on, tied to all this color, would be the mind lifestyle, M-I-N-D lifestyle, which is a combination of the Mediterranean lifestyle, so our European Mediterranean countries, and the DASH diet, which was another diet or lifestyle more for people who had hypertension. So it's very low in salt and very high in color, vegetables and fruits. So this mind lifestyle, they are promoting a lot for Parkinson's and other health conditions because of all the benefits. And so I'm going to share with you, and well, first I'll ask you the following question. If you've heard of the mind and the Mediterranean, what foods are included and which foods are promoted in this kind of lifestyle? We're going to go over first that. You can chat it down below in the chat, or if you want to unmute yourself and share, I'm glad to hear your voice as well. Who wants to share, like, do you know, have you heard, do you know of any food that's included in the Mediterranean and the mind lifestyle? Because what I want to try to do today is, you know, kind of show you through the recipes and through the how to start adding maybe some of those beneficial ingredients.
Anybody? Don't be afraid, Julia.
Oh yeah, feel free. I'm not. I love people to talk to me, interact. So please, I try to be as sociable as possible. Feel free to share whatever. It doesn't. Yes.
I am from the Mediterranean. I was born in Greece, and I use a lot of olive oil, and I use a lot of vegetables, and I cook from scratch, pretty much. I don't do cans. I only do jars. If I need like artichoke hearts, I will never buy from a can. I will only buy a jar ones. And I've heard all kinds of different things about the Mediterranean diet, but I know I have Parkinson's because of my dad. It was a hereditary thing, but I eat quite well, and it helps out. And if you eat well, I think your mind is healthier. Kind, you know, you don't suffer from any mind fuzz, as I call it. At least that's what I think.
Wonderful. Well, yes, thank you so much. And how amazing from Greece. Fantastic. Yes, thank you. So exactly, for those of you, so there's 10 food ingredients that the mind lifestyle, that includes the Mediterranean lifestyle, is part of, the ones they promote through a lot of scientific-based research. One is the one you mentioned, one of them, which is olive oil. And this is so funny you say, because I seem to have today from Sprouts extra virgin olive oil of Greece. So I guess I knew I would have a participant from Greece. Sometimes it's from Italy, Greece, but okay. Olive oil, my friend. So of all the oils that they're promoting in the mind, again, the mind is a combination of DASH and Mediterranean lifestyle. Olive oil, very high in monounsaturated fats. This doesn't mean you can also consume avocado oil, is another great one, coconut oil, but we're speaking about where the research is here, olive oil. And what I love about, because I do come from European background through both of my grandparents. So from my dad's side, my grandparents who went to Argentina, they were Russian, Polish, and from my mom's side, they were Hungarian. From Budapest, they went over to New York. So I love the European culture and lifestyle, familiar with it. And because of that, I have also grown up a lot with very simple, not processed foods, not salad dressings, just everything's very olive oil and some kind of vinegar, lemon, and some kind of herbs and spices, right? Very, very simple and delicious. So olive oil is one of the great things of this kind of lifestyle. Does anyone know what else is included in the Mediterranean, the mind lifestyle?
Debbie, in the chat, Perry said lots of veggies and fruit, also good oils, fish.
Yes. Oh, beautiful. Thank you. Thanks, Barry. Thanks for sharing. Exactly. So 10 ingredients. One is the olive oil. Two, you were mentioning lots of veggies and fruits, especially excellent. Especially, I'm going to give you a recipe with dark leafy greens. So a spinach salad, kale, if you love romaine, if you love, I've got outside Swiss chard. So the dark leafy greens, that's great, as well as any other colorful veggies. You're right. As far as the fruit, they recommend any fruit, and especially I have two recipes with berries. So high in vitamin C, antioxidant berries. They're promoting practically every day, try to get, or several times a week, something with berries. I think I heard you say nuts. Oh, the fish. Excellent. So animal protein, they're recommending fish and chicken. Fish is very high in omega-3 fatty acids, great fats for our brain and for our body, our heart, etc. What else? So you've almost gotten to all of them. So to review, we are speaking about the veggies, the dark leafy greens, the berries and the fruit, olive oil, chicken and fish. Anybody else has other suggestions? Olive oil.
Butter lettuce. I love butter lettuce.
Oh,
That
beautiful.
actually, it's called living lettuce with a root.
That's right. Thank you. Thanks for sharing. And the nice things of several of these lettuce, like you mentioned, is that you've probably seen in the last few years all these lettuce wraps, right? So if you're trying to cut down on the breads or the other tortilla wraps, use these wonderful lettuce wraps. Anyone else has any other suggestion of what other ingredients we're missing in this lifestyle here?
Debbie, what about different types of grains?
Yes, excellent. That's right. And I have a recipe there too. Perfect. So they're recommending a lot of whole grains every day, at least 3 portions of whole grains a day. And you're right. What are whole grains? Well, whole grains are the grains that have fiber, so they're not so refined, right? So I'm going to add a recipe today of quinoa, which is a Central American whole grain with lots of protein, complete protein, if you're trying to maybe add a little bit more plant-based food. I'm going to share a little recipe that's already done because it's a little muffin with polenta, which is corn grits. So this is maize or corn that many of us might consume more as a breakfast, corn grits, and I have it more as an Italian muffin. But you can include barley, right? Oats and oatmeal. I have a little green muffin to show you with oats. Instead of other flours, we can use rolled oats, granola, homemade granola. So any kind of whole grain, your rice with a brown rice, wild rice. And the other thing they also promote a lot in this kind of lifestyle, besides the whole grains or together, would be your beans or your legumes. So obviously fresh is the best, right? But I know sometimes, we're in a rush. There's frozen garbanzo beans. I've seen chickpeas. There's obviously canned. So lentils, anything, lentils, chickpeas, kidney beans, black beans, right? Whatever kind of bean group you love, perfect. I love a lot the lentils. One, because, you might split peas. So all these are great because they cook pretty quickly. So if you're trying to prepare something, you don't want to spend the day before leaving it in water several hours. The lentils are a great option. And with these, you can combine grains and beans and make hamburgers and make little, meatless balls, meatballs. So there is soups, stews, stuff in vegetables. So there's lots of options with these beans as well. And then the last 3 items to add to this 10 ingredient list would be, I'm going to share you some ideas with nuts, walnuts, almonds, pecans, and seeds. I've got some pumpkin seeds here, but any kind of seeds. These are also contain proteins and healthy fats for our mind and for our body. Last but not least, wine. So if you're already used to drinking wine in moderation, obviously, and your doctor is okay with it, because I always say, refer back to your doctor, right? And your doctor, he or she are, they're fine. So wine is the 10th ingredient on this lifestyle. And the 5 ingredients that they're trying for us to kind of decrease and stay away from would be dairy, especially the cheese, very processed, lots of sodium, cholesterol, saturated fat, the red meat, anything to do with processed foods, the fast foods, too much fats, butters, fats, and refined sugars. So basically, it's kind of what you were mentioning, right? Eating from scratch, really trying to eat what's in nature. I kind of say when you go to the supermarket, the grocery store, go in, not in so much in the aisles as everything's processed there, but your surrounding areas, right? Your veggies and fruits, your fish, your chicken, your grains, your grains, your cereals, your beans and that, and your olive oils and spices, etc. So that's kind of to give you an idea. It doesn't mean that you can't ever consume dairy or this or that, and I do have an option with dairy, but these would be at least for you to understand a little bit more of the lifestyle, right? What the lifestyle is about. Does anyone have questions until now? And I'm now going to start with the recipes.
What would you suggest for the alternative to dairy?
Excellent question. Thanks for asking. Thank you. You reminded me, of course. We're fortunate in this country that there's so many alternatives to dairy. Like I say, it all depends on, what you like and how you're feeling, etc. But food sensitivities, etc. But for example, if yogurt is you want to have yogurt, we have coconut yogurt, there's almond yogurt, there's soy yogurt, right? So we're fortunate to have a variety of yogurts out there. If you're looking for milk alternatives, the same thing you might see in the grocery store: coconut milk, almond milk combined, soy milk, hazelnut milk. There's such a variety of milks out there too. And as far as cheese as well, you'll see a lot of soy cheese out there. It kind of looks like cheese, almond cheese, spreads instead of cream cheese. There's other cheese, even butters that are made with almond ingredients and walnuts. So I would say even nut butters, I forgot to include besides your nuts, nut butters if you're into it, or maybe you don't want peanut butter, but you want an almond butter. So I would say we're fortunate that we live in a country that has such an abundance of alternatives, and each time more, right? They're realizing that we all need these different varieties because we're all different. So, and the other option I would also include is you can even do all this from scratch. If you're really excited to be in the kitchen and motivated, it's not complicated. It just requires another, just some time and perseverance. But almond milk, basically almonds, you soak them from several hours, one day to another, and then you can blend it with water, with coconut milk, etc. So we are able to do these things at home. They obviously require, a whole, like I say, a whole set of things that we might not be really excited to go about. But luckily at the grocery store, just choose different things. What I do recommend to all of you is a whole other topic, but it's reading food labels or food ingredients. Don't only look at when it says soy yogurt or almond yogurt. you know, for me, it's so important to read ingredients that I know it's kind of small, but the list of ingredients, that kind of gives us an idea of what's in there, right? Did they add something extra? Maybe you could buy the natural plain flavor and add, you know, strawberries if you want it to taste more strawberry-ish, a yogurt or whatever, right? So trying to have, you know, that option. But that is a great question. There's lots of availability out there.
Hey, Debbie, Perry had asked if you could mention the 10 foods again.
Of course.
Like as a list, yeah.
Yes, thanks for asking. And I can then send them over to you and you can,
okay.
You know, so we don't get dizzy, but they're mentioning olive oil, wine, our nuts and seeds, our berries, our dark leafy greens, our beans or legumes, which is the whole group, whole grains, then it would be our salmon, our chicken, and then last but not least would be all the other vegetables and fruits, right? They don't tell us eat carrot or eat that, but like I say, you know, vegetables and fruits, not only dark leafy greens, not only berries, they want you to add more color. I think I covered all of them. I hope so. Did I cover the nuts and seeds? I'm sorry. Did I miss that one? So that's the kind of the list. Wonderful. Anything else that somebody maybe came across as we were chatting? Yes.
I hate to dominate the conversation. I'm in a funny position. I've always, as much as I could, eaten pretty healthy. I quit eating sugar a long time ago and just lots of things. But we now live in a senior community where we get our meals are there. And I have the worst problem figuring out what to eat. I had salmon, I think 6 of the 7 nights last week. And I just wondered if you have any suggestions. I think what I'm going to do is talk to we just moved here in October. I think I'm going to talk to the person in charge of the food and just say, you know, how about getting some more healthy food on the menu? I don't know, but I just wondered if you have any suggestions.
Thank you, and I'm glad you brought that up. I feel for you because I go around a lot in our Maricopa County community, West Phoenix, East Valley, and do a lot of senior presentations. So, you know, through insurance companies or third-party sponsors. So I really understand because you're not the only one telling me. I hear this over and over when we go to, you know, different places. And I have a hard time, like, what can I say? But I agree with you, you know, in these places where you get your food, the best thing to do is what you just mentioned to me, you know, go there and I don't know, you know, whoever's in charge and see if they can, you know, you really need this variety and this and that, right? And I'm sure you're not the only one. Sometimes if you go, you and the neighbor and, you know, so on, right? Because I know it's a difficulty that, you know, people bring it up to my attention many, many times. And so I'm glad you brought it up. I would just say be assertive and you know, just explain what you're telling me, right? And if you can bring along a neighbor, you all want variety and food and right, and well, they're responsible to bring that along. Usually or most times they do have a dietitian, a nutritionist, someone that has to supervise meals and that. So I don't know if there is that person there or one can chat with that person as well, right? But I agree with you. You just have to, like my dad always said, be your own best friend. So you have to be assertive and talk about your needs, right? When we can take care of ourselves, we empower ourselves, we empower our health, and you're the most important person out there. So each one of you. So I just want to give you some tools, and I want you to be empowered to go out there and, what you're saying, do what you have to do, right? To feel better and get the food you need to get. Wonderful. So I will continue with the recipes because I want to make sure, I know I love to chat so much. And as I go through the recipes, I want to hear all about you as far as if you do something similar. So let me share with you a few recipes. Number one, this is a favorite recipe that can be modified as well, that I love for either a breakfast or a snack time. Because I know sometimes, you know, we might not feel like, again, preparing a lot of things at home. So it's called a yogurt cup or a yogurt parfait. It has 3 ingredients. And I'm glad to send these recipes, you know, if you don't want to be writing everything down. You're going to laugh at me, but first of all, I make sure that I get a cute little cup at the dollar store, because I always think it's so important, the visual aspect of eating, whether you're eating alone or you're eating in company. So, you know, just get a cute little cup for your yogurt parfait, your yogurt cup on the one hand. The 3 ingredients that I include are the following. And also I'm trying to be mindful of the Mediterranean lifestyle, the mind. Number 1 ingredient would be nuts, seeds, or if you're not into this or you have a food sensitivity, whole grains like a granola, an oatmeal. So I've got here in my little bowl, I have some walnuts, high in omega-3, and almonds. And so this is what I add first of all in the cup. I'm also very particular about texture. So if you're okay with chewing and biting, fine. But if you need to, you know, I used to process the nuts and seeds for my parents, right? So if you need, you can use a little food processor, a small one, you know, to make it easier to chew. And if you prefer granolas or whole grain cereals, you can add that. So first of all, here's the first thing in our cup. Number 2, I'm going to add berries. So I have here some raspberries and some blueberries, which is great because you don't have to cut them if you're having, you know, difficulties with a knife. These are easy. You can also have some strawberries. I've got some strawberries here as well, blackberries. But again, we're adding berries, which is something we also want to promote in this kind of lifestyle. And we're talking about color, right? We're talking about eating like a rainbow. Meanwhile, feel free if you want to put in the chat box, if you do something similar, please do so. You can also add other fruit, pineapple, grapes, bananas, apples. So it doesn't have to be only mixed berries. And last but not least, some kind of a yogurt. And we mentioned there's options, dairy yogurt. I love also using a lot the Greek yogurt, which is animal protein, but plain natural, or we spoke about some dairy alternatives, right? I have here a vanilla, non-fat, just a regular yogurt, but I also use a lot, like I say, the Greek yogurt or alternatives, almond yogurt and others. And then what I do is I'll cut maybe a strawberry or something just to decorate here on top, and I'll add 1 or 2 blueberries. And so look, I don't know if you get to see more or less, or you've got a little yogurt cup here. So in this case, we have, with this little simple cup that takes, you know, less than 5 minutes, we've got the nuts or seeds and nuts that they've recommended in the Mind Mediterranean lifestyle, or the whole grains that they recommended. They recommended for us to add some mixed berries. We've got berries there. And they didn't recommend the dairy, but again, if you have a non-dairy alternative, well, there you're getting, you know, some almond or some other thing. And you've got lots of fats, healthy fats, omegas, you get your proteins, you get your calcium, your vitamin D, vitamin C, antioxidants. So this little cup packs great nutritional punch in it. Are there any comments? Any of you do something similar? Because there's many variations or modifications. Anyone wants to share something? You don't have to. I'm just asking.
I don't see any comments yet.
Okay.
I can't figure out the comment thing. I'm sorry.
Oh, no, then let
that's
me know. No, then feel free to chat. Tell me, is there something you want to share?
Does Greek yogurt have milk in it? I forgot to look at that.
Yeah, Greek yogurt has it's cow's milk, correct?
Okay.
Correct. So since you were asking me about alternatives, if you're in a situation that you're non-dairy, yes, then just use the other options that we mentioned before. Thanks for asking. Yes, feel free. If you're more comfortable just unmuting and talking, that's fine.
Okay.
Okay. Yes, my friend.
Hi there. I wanted to share an alternative to butter, which is ghee, Ghee. You get it at Sprouts or Whole Foods, and it's clarified butter, but it's not considered dairy. And also, I like milk in my coffee and so forth, but I only use goat's or sheep's milk. Well, I don't know about sheep's milk, but there's available goat's milk. So that's what I use. And the cheeses I use are mostly sheep's or goat. So I think they're a dab better. What do you think of that?
Excellent. Thanks for telling me and thanks for sharing. You're right. So in the Sprouts, in the Whole Foods, if you're near a Trader Joe's, those kind of more specialized, smaller grocery stores, like you say, they have other options, especially if you're looking for all this non-dairy, gluten-free, more specialty. Yes, you're right. Sheep and goat's milk, exactly. So those are great alternatives, can be used. Again, like I say, everyone has their own food sensitivities and issues, but yes, many people use, like you're saying, the goat's milk as an alternative, and great. So thanks for bringing that up. That's why I love for this to be interactive, because there's some things that I might not remember at the moment or I don't use as much. So thank you. Perfect. Recipe number 2 is a very fun recipe, very simple for summertime. And if you have, I don't know, maybe grandkids or kids or family members, this is fun to do all together. Basically, it's very funny, the name. It's called a watermelon pizza. So how many of you like pizza? How many of you like regular pizza? Yes. Yum, yes. So we've got our regular pizza with some kind of a dough, whether it's gluten-free, non-gluten, wheat, and whatever topping. So basically think of the pizza as the dough, you've got a sauce, maybe tomato, white sauce, something, and then some kind of ingredients or topping. So this is fun. Basically, the watermelon, what you do is you grab the watermelon, you slice it. It could be a thicker or thinner slice. Obviously, you're not going to eat the rind, but it's the watermelon's in the middle. Watermelon is high in vitamin C and a great antioxidant. I mentioned it before for hydration. And so this would be your dough. On top of this, there's really 2 versions, a salty version and a sweet version. The sweet version would be one of your yogurts or, non-dairy, dairy yogurts that you can add as a sauce. And if it's more saltier version, they're using like a cottage cheese or a non-dairy cottage cheese as well. Then you'll add, in this case, we're trying to promote the berries, so you'll add some color and more antioxidants with raspberries, blackberries, blueberries, strawberries. I'm adding all 3 right now. I've got some blueberries. I'm chopping some strawberries. You can also use kiwi. I've used the kiwi there too. Some pineapple, some grapes. I've got some grapes here. So some seedless grapes. So there you're getting a little bit of, you're getting your protein, you're getting your hydration, you're getting natural fiber, sugars. You can also then add some toppings like almonds or walnuts and almonds. Pistachios are great. Pecans if you like them. I always say try to vary, not to always have, you know, the same kind. And then you can add some mint leaves, I've got parsley and dill here, but you can add some natural mint leaves if you want fresh ones. And if you feel like it, you can drizzle it with honey. But if you don't, this is kind of what it looks like here. The salty version with the cottage cheese allows you to add maybe some olives. What else do they add? Also some walnuts or some other nuts. So it's kind of a fun little snack, another suggestion, right, for the spring and the summertime. Has anyone tried any of something like this? Watermelon pizza, does that sound familiar to any of you? No. Okay. Number 3, this is a quinoa salad with color, with eating like a rainbow. So remember we mentioned, and I'd love to know how many of you use, this would be one of the whole grains that they're also promoting, high in proteins. How many of you use quinoa? Sometimes this would be, in the last few years, they've replaced in many restaurants, even so, instead of rice, they've added more quinoa. So yes, okay, I see some hands. You have been, yes, others might know. Perfect. So let me just explain some advantages. High in protein, easy to cook, because I don't know if you get to see, but raw, they're tiny little pebbles, we would say. They kind of, some people say it looks like bird seed, if you have birds or canaries. So we used to have lots of canaries at home. And the nice thing is that you don't need to leave it in water. Basically, boiling water, you add this grain, and you lower the heat, and in a few minutes it's cooked. So it cooks quickly. And if some of you are into not wanting to cook every day, I always speak about meal prepping. So maybe doing double the portion, right? Or 3 times the portion, so you have enough for a few days. And so you're not in the kitchen so often. And what it looks like when it's cooked, they look like little round pebbles. This one's a rainbow, so it has different, if you're able to check it out. So they're like little round pebbles, quinoa. Feel free if you want to chat in the chat, or if you want to just unmute and share. Do you make a recipe with this? And it doesn't have to be a salad. This is more a salad type. Many people do it like an overnight quinoa, so for breakfast the next day, and they'll hydrate it with some kind of dairy or non-dairy milk, a sweetener. So
Debbie, is that cold? Has that been in your refrigerator? It's not warm, right?
Oh, excellent question. So how can you consume it? Yeah, it could be, right now I'm making it cold like a salad. It's been in my fridge. But another option, or many options, you can consume it hot. So many times I'll put it in a stew, in a soup, fill a stuffing, like we mentioned in the beginning, some kind of a red pepper or tomato or zucchini, like a stuffing, and you can bake in the oven, right? I mean, baking means you don't eat it raw, you've cooked it, right? But then you add other sauce or ingredients. So yes, you have versions, could be this kind of cold salad, or it could be the hot, or it could be like a breakfast. And you can find this ingredient also as a ready-made cereal at the grocery stores, or even crackers. There's lots of options. So this is a salad, so we're starting with a quinoa there. Again, promoting the Mind Mediterranean. I have also sliced, and you can make them little squares or slices, a yellow pepper. So there's 4 kinds of peppers out there. How many of you are into peppers? I've got some yellow peppers, and I've also sliced some orange peppers. There's red and green, but I'm trying to get lots of beta carotene, lots of color here. And also I have sliced kind of round slices. You can do it cubes, cucumbers. So cucumbers are high in hydration and water, vitamins. So again, we're trying to get 3 types of colors here: yellow, orange, greens. I'm kind of mixing all this together, but just as I always say, you can add other ingredients. So this is kind of what it looks like here. And as a dressing, we mentioned keeping it simple. So maybe an olive oil, an avocado oil, just something very simple. Then some kind of an acid, maybe you're into lemon, lime, some vinegar, balsamic vinegar, red wine vinegar, or you like something else. Maybe you're into spices, and please, go ahead. Add salt if that's available to you, or add, other oregano. I've got paprika. I am not much into spicy, but feel free. As well as I like to add some fresh herbs. So I've got here parsley. I've got some dill. I'm a fanatic. I put dill into everything I find, but even if you don't have a garden or space, you can just grab from Sprouts, Trader Joe's, one of those, just a bunch of parsley, some dill, put it in a little glass or cup with water, and it smells great, and you've got some fresh herbs for your meals. And well, voila, here you've got a cute little salad, just a quinoa and slicing, and that's pretty much it. You can add other ingredients. You can add red cabbage. I've got some red cabbage here. You can add broccoli, cauliflower, grated carrots, mushrooms. I mean, whatever works for you. Any comments, or does anyone want to share something maybe similar or different? Okay. Next one on our list would be, we mentioned in the mind and Mediterranean lifestyle, out of all the veggies, they are promoting practically every day to try to get, or several times a week, some of our dark leafy greens. So I have spinach and baby arugula here. We spoke about kale. We spoke about chard. So this is a nice little spinach salad. Start off with fresh spinach and kale, or combined. Then you can add several varieties. You can add some walnuts. You can have this as a side dish, or now I'll tell you how to add it as a main dish. So some walnuts high in omega-3s, some berries, just because we're trying to promote that lifestyle with berries. I've got some pineapple, so I like to add pineapple to different things if that's something you enjoy doing. You can also juice your pineapple with some coconut water if you want, and make like a little piña colada. Perfect. And then you can just drizzle with a little olive oil and any seasoning or herbs that you enjoy. A balsamic vinaigrette is also delicious, and it looks like this. Just a nice summery salad. But to this salad, you can also make it your main dish for lunch and dinner by adding what we mentioned before, maybe a chicken or a salmon, which is also part of our Mediterranean mind lifestyle. As an option, it could be sardines, it could be tuna. So you can make or convert this side dish into this complete dish with protein too. And if you want to eat like once in a while something of dairy, well, you can always add some goat cheese. We were talking about goat milk, goat cheese, or something else, or non-dairy, right, crumbled cheese to kind of give it more protein and some other option. Anybody wants to share, or any questions until now?
You guys are so quiet.
Yeah, I don't know if you're getting hungry or.
I have a question about protein. I've heard that with Parkinson's, you should limit your protein. Have you heard that?
Great question. Look, I always say that even though I speak here like webinars, workshops, and so they're very generalized because, you know, one thing is a group, but you're right, everybody is very different. I always speak about personalized nutrition, right? And so everyone might have different needs, but we have three main nutrients out there: carbs, proteins, and fats. And we always speak about healthier versions of these. So we all need a certain percentage of each. The percentage we need, well, will depend on many factors. That's why it becomes personalized. One important thing, so would I say limit? I wouldn't say limit. I would just say, you know, it really depends on your specific needs, right, with everything involved. There is one thing that you probably all are aware of with the medication, right? If most of you, or if you're taking levodopa, so you are probably, your doctor has told you to separate the medication about 30, 45 minutes prior to a meal, because the medication and the amino acids of the protein, they compete for the same brain receptors. So that is an important thing to know, and especially if you're taking other medications. So I would say we do need protein, very important. In general, the American lifestyle consumes more protein than needed, but we are seeing each time more that sometimes people are deficient in protein, and protein is an important nutrient and part of all our body components. So I would always, you know, go back, refer back to my physician and see, you know, what yes or not, but I wouldn't say like limiting, unless there's, you know, some situation. But we do want, even as I mentioned to you before, besides color in our meals, trying to get each of these nutrients in each of our main breakfast, lunch, and dinner is a good thing, right? So I'm always making sure that I'm covering all my nutritional needs. Plus, many of these foods do not just have one nutrient. So when I speak about beans, when I speak about grains, I have carbs, I have fiber, I have protein, right? So I have to be, if I do need to limit something, I have to be quite knowledgeable about what each food and what ingredient has what, right? Because, you know, they're not isolated. But I would refer back to your doctor regarding how much protein like each one of you needs and that. Because note that there's so much information out there, there's an overload of information. And so we have to be kind of cautious also if my neighbor's doing this, the other one's doing that. We need to really concentrate on being very personalized on the specific nutrients. I hope that helps.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Yes, my friend.
I know with Parkinson's, constipation is an issue. And so I've gone in the mornings, I have a NutriBullet, and I put in kale, spinach, fruits, ground flax seeds, ground chia seeds, almonds, protein powder, and mix it all together and drink it in the mornings. And that keeps me regular, so to speak.
That's wonderful. Thank you so much for sharing. Thank you. You're absolutely right. See, with Parkinson's, according to the stages, we might have or experience, like you're saying, different symptoms and different issues, right? And digestive issues are an important part. So you are correct. Some people experience weight loss, other people experience constipation. So especially now that summertime is coming, I always remind people, like you're saying, be sure to get fibers, but fiber plus hydration. Don't just get a bunch of fiber and forget about your water, your hydration. So you need both. And so this kind of lifestyle is great because, like you said, right, you're juicing in the morning and you're adding lots of color, you're adding seeds as well, you're adding protein as well, and you're adding hydration. So excellent, yes, excellent. And different things work for different people, right? But juicing, smoothies, it's also great when in summertime we don't want to spend too much time, like I say, in the kitchen. You get all this in a drink and, you know, it's nourishing. So it's a great option and it's quick, right? Another thing. Thank you. So I have two other ideas for you that are already made just because they require baking. But one thing with whole grains, right? So kind of to give you an idea. So this might be hard to see far away, but this is a little polenta or corn grit muffin. So I make it with like the muffin tins or the cupcake tins of 6 or 12. So you can make several and have them, you know, different times or freeze them. It has mushrooms and it has onions, and it has the polenta or the corn grits. So just for you, if you're not very familiar, the polenta, which comes from Italy, or the corn grits that we are familiar with, is also very quick to cook. This is more of a ready-made polenta, and you might find it like in the Sprouts and those grocery stores already prepared like in a sausage, and you just cut them. They're already done for you. But this is basically with water. I can also send, you know, the recipe and everything. So basically you first boil the water, you add the corn grits, you stir. You can add it instead of in water. I do it many times in a vegetable broth. If, you know, that works for you for flavor, you can add salt or pepper, whatever you want. And then in a separate saucepan, what I did was I kind of stir fried my onions. I chop my onions and mushrooms. Mushrooms are immune boosting. They're high in immune boosting factors, so maintaining your immune system nice and healthy. And so the mushrooms have been sliced with the onions, and once those are cooked, I will mix them together with the polenta, the corn grits, and I will put them in the little, let me show you. This I have, well, they're being washed. So the 6 or the 12 little muffin. You can do 6, you know, if there's not many of you in the family or you're on your own. One of these, and then you've preheated the oven to 350 Fahrenheit, and you cook them like for 10-15 minutes. So you have these cute little, like I said, you know, for lunch or dinner. These cute little muffins. Maybe you have 2 of these with a green salad or some other vegetables. And you're getting your whole grains, you're getting mushrooms, you're getting immune boosting properties. Maybe you're getting your dark leafy greens with this kind of side salad. And the nice thing of these little muffins or cupcakes, you can vary. You can make them with beans, you can make them with grains. So you can make them with salmon. So, you know, you just have another similar, more breakfast, evening, that smell delicious. I'm left with 3. Whoever wants to come and get the other 3. These are little muffins, but let's see, let me share. I don't know if you can they smell delicious. You can see, but they're green, so they're green muffins. So they're green muffins. Why? Because they have spinach or kale. And these are made with eggs. So these have eggs, and they're made with oatmeal, rolled oats, but they don't have any flour. They don't have addition of sugars or honey or maple syrup. And they also have protein powder. So if you're looking to increase your protein and you don't know where to add it because you're not into smoothies, these are great. So these could be breakfast, and I added almond extract, a baking powder. You can, oh, I'm sorry, bananas are in here and dates. So the bananas and the dates give it the sweetness, but not too overpowering. So if you're into not a lot of just natural sweetness, you can add nuts and almonds as well. And you can serve them, like I have here, with some of the berries. So my friends, this is about it for today. I will just go over what we spoke about. We spoke about the importance of eating like a rainbow, adding color to our life. And for me, it's not only color in the food. You know, when I eat with color, I feel more energized. So, you know, wearing color, if that's what you like to do or not, but you feel more colorful. And I feel it's a great mind and body approach to our health. And we went and talked about the research behind the Mediterranean, the mind lifestyle, how those 10 ingredients should be the ones that we're trying to promote most. And I shared with you a whole variety of recipes for breakfast, for lunch, for tea time, snacks, dinner. I'm glad you were all also shared some of your suggestions too. And I'm glad to share them with all of you. If there's something that you wanted me to pass along, I'm glad to do so. And so I'm open for any additional questions, concerns, or any comments you'd all like to share with all of us.
Any questions for Debbie? Perry said he'd love to have the recipes. So if you want to send them on to me, I can pass them out to everybody that showed up today. If you'd be happy to do that for them, Debbie. And I also can share their information with you, the email addresses. So if you want to contact them, you can.
Sure.
Any questions? It's so beautiful to look at your kitchen today, I must say.
Very appetizing.
Yeah,
Yes.
isn't it? Well, you know, that's why I told you about the little cup when I do the yogurt parfait, etc. Because, you know, luckily if our eyesight, you know, we can see, you know, and sometimes we're not grateful enough for the things we have, but color, right? It's all about color. That's why when someone serves us this appetizing meal in a restaurant, at a friend's house or whatever, right? You know, that's the first thing of the five senses, right? The color, right? And that kind of stimulates the other senses, the smell, right? The taste, etc. So yeah, think of eating like a rainbow as a lifestyle for you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thanks all for coming and participating. I hope this was helpful, and maybe it just even one idea or something, you know, is always gratifying to me.
And just so you all know, this is recorded. So in a few days, it will be on the JCC's website. So if you want to share it with someone else that might want to see this that wasn't here today, it will be available. Thank you, Debbie, so much. It was delightful and happy and uplifting. So I appreciate that.
And thank you, Janelle.
Thanks.
You're
Thanks,
welcome.
Debbie.
Thank you all. Have a great day and keep safe.
And if you are interested in next week's program, Dr. Kuhn, David Kuhn, who's a professor at ASU, will be talking about the care partnership. So it's you're welcome to bring your significant other. It's a program for anyone who is in any kind of partnership with caregiving. So please join us if you haven't signed up already. We'd love to have you. Thank you, everyone. Have a wonderful afternoon. We'll see you next week, hopefully. Thank you, Debbie.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.